Joining me now is the man himself, Sbusiso Leope, also known as DJ Sbu. A very good afternoon to you. Welcome so much.
Hello,
thank you so much for joining us.
I'm blessed, thank you.
Now, let's just talk about this new radio station that you've come up with, you and your partners. I mean, just the concept of opening up the industry. Talk to us about that.
I think the first thing I'd like to say to South Africa is we've lost an amazing person. I was a kid at the time. I never understood what was going on 28 years ago. So for me to see you guys commemorating the spirit of the late, great Ntate Krisani, may his soul rest in peace, and we'd like to thank you for that. Yeah, I'm excited. The world is moving digitally. The world is moving online. The world is giving young people an opportunity to become whoever they want to become through their phones. So during the lockdown last year, we started a lockdown class because everybody was at home.
Yes.
We started a radio training program called I Was Born to Speak on Radio. And we started training students. We didn't know the intake was going to be so big. We got like hundreds and hundreds, all the way up to 1-point-something thousand students. But we currently have got about 100 graduates that have finished the course, and they're currently training on the farm. We're teaching them farming, agripreneurship, and we're also teaching them how to be on air. And it was an intentional concept to call it homegrown and to base the actual studios in a farm. So it is an online station for young people who just want to be on air and learn broadcasting, learn presenting, and learn to be in front of a camera and the microphone.
And why the importance of actually focusing not only on the radio talent, but also on agriculture and other skills as well? Because
I'm an entrepreneur, and I cannot believe the reason I'm still around in the entertainment business today and I'm still doing well, despite all the journey that I've had over the past two decades, is because I'm an entrepreneur. I grew up in front of an entrepreneur as Paza. You know, you know. So I grew up like that, and I actually grew up selling, even as a school, selling in trains, selling on campus, even at varsity. So it's always been my culture. And even when I got into the music industry, as much as I became a musician, but I was also privy or knowing how to sell and just having that sales knowledge. And it has helped me become better in selling music, selling radio airtime right now with our radio stations, selling my books, selling my drinks, and everything else. And I'm sure you can tell that, you know, I'm always selling wherever I am, and I'm always sharing and encouraging people to sell. So I want other young people to be like that. I don't want people to box themselves and say, I am this. Because words have got power. Once you keep saying, no, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, you'll just be that. You are what you say you are. But if you say, I'm a creative, I can do anything. Just like me, I'm a creative. I can create drinks, I can create a radio show, I can create a TV show, I can create books, I can create whatever it is, I can create it and I can sell it at the same time. So I believe every young person right now, especially in 2021, has to know how to sell. But they also have to know and learn how to live green, how to embrace nature, how to appreciate greenness, how to know our crops, how to have knowledge of the things that they eat on a daily basis, because a lot of us actually eat nonsense.
And also, just speaking about the lineup of the radio station, you've mentioned it's going to be a lot of young people, a lot of fresh talent, new talent, and also the kind of music that will be played on the station.
100% African talent. I really do think that the SABC was onto something great when they wanted to implement their 90% music policy a couple of years ago. I'm very sad. I'm one of the musicians that obviously struggled since the lockdown last year, but luckily, obviously, I'm an entrepreneur. I've got other things that I do, but I feel for my fellow musicians and creatives that we didn't get an opportunity to go out there on shows, we didn't get an opportunity to do a lot of things, and a lot of us can't make a lot of money because our radio stations are consistently bombarding us with American music. There's nothing wrong with American music, we all love it, but we can't be in support of American music at the expense of our own music. So I kind of believe I'm one of those people, instead of talking, let me do. Yes. So when other people are complaining or always having opinions, which is great, we need those voices, people like me are doers. We go out there into the field, we go into the trenches, we get our hands dirty, and we put in the work. And I kind of believe that's the mindset that I'd like to instill in other young people as well, for them to be diverse in their careers in the entertainment industry, in the media and broadcasting industry, but to also have those entrepreneurial skills. But still, let's push our own, let's be our own, let's be proud of being African. So exactly 100% African music from all over. It's not only South Africa. So from Kenya, from Nigeria, from Rwanda, and people need to start decolonizing their minds and reading about their own black consciousness. You're looking at one of our leaders right now, Tate Krisani, the late Abu Bab Solomon Mahlango, may his soul rest in peace. Abu Bab Steve Biko, may his soul rest in peace. And I'd like to encourage young people out there to go read a book by the late great Steve Biko, his memoirs. The book is called I Write What I Like. A lot of us do know about it, but maybe younger people don't know about it. Maybe younger people don't know about how it is being black conscious. They don't know how it is, how to learn how to love yourself, like how to appreciate being black. And I think it starts with that mindset, so that then externally it expresses itself with everything that you do. That's why we go 100% African music.
And I like the way that you actually are also incorporating mentorship into what you're doing. It's an important sort of element of success for the young people coming up. Talk to us then about the difficulties or whatever challenges you might have faced launching a new channel like this during the pandemic especially. You mentioned that you got a greater response than you actually had anticipated.
Yeah, I mean, we launched our Massive Metro, which is our other radio station, 4 years ago. It's been bumpy. It's been ups and downs. It's been a difficult business to get off the ground. I've learned so much. It's been challenging. And I would like to appreciate everybody and anybody that has been a part of Massive Metro, presenters that have worked with us, or the team behind the scenes, and just all the guests that have been a part of that journey. So we kind of felt, now it's time to grow and go start another baby. And the lessons that I've learned through Massive Metro, the lessons I've learned through working for YFM, working for Ukhozi FM, working for Metro, Vuma FM, Rise FM, Voice of Tembisa, UJ FM. At the time when I was working, it was called Channel T when I was still a student. I started on campus radio and community radio. So all of that experience culminates into us starting our own business, which was Massive Metro. But the mistakes that we made from being business people and co-founders of the station, we don't want to repeat those mistakes now. We said, you know what, let's keep our expenses very lean. Let's go and train our own talent. That's why you can't just be employed at Homegrown Radio. You have to go to leadership2020.co.za, apply for I Was Born to Speak on Radio, a radio training course. As soon as you finish the 12-week training program, then we can place you on air, because we've taught you the fundamentals of being on air and learning how radio and broadcasting works. And then we can place you on air. And through our teachings, we believe we are opening up the industry, because a lot of them then are going to go on to grow, to go work for the big stations out there. Some of them are going to be celebrities or musicians, or some of them are going to be whatever they're going to become. But I believe it's always nice to get them when they're still young. And I think what's great about it is it's an online course. People can learn from the comfort of their own homes. And
just, just in the last sort of minute or so, speaking about the entrepreneurship side of your career, you've got an energy drink, which you actually had a video that went viral when you were actually selling on the highway in the middle of two carriageways. Yeah. Some people say it wasn't legal, some say it was your passion. You also have the drinks that you launched more recently. Just talk to us just briefly about how that part of the business is actually growing, and the inspiration behind having vernacular Kasi names for those drinks.
I think at first, when I first came out with Mofai, a lot of people thought I was crazy. A lot of people criticized me. I got a lot of pushback. I got a lot of criticism. But I look at South Africa right now, 5 years later. The narrative has grown. And I'm quite excited, and I'm very happy that I'm not the only one now that is screaming, shouting, and praising entrepreneurship, and that is just pushing this narrative of us owning our own, pushing our own brands, building our own brands. Yes, we'll have a lot of stumbling blocks, because we all knew in this ownership thing, in this business thing. But I think you learn with doing. You don't just learn with theory. You have to go be in the trenches and get the work done. So with Mofire, we learned so much. We've made a lot of mistakes, but then we've grown over the years. Some of the things that I've had to do, it's because I've had to do them. You need to remember, when a small business owner starts a business in South Africa, they don't have money to come and advertise on your channel, yet they can't afford it. They'll have to grow up until a certain point, like us now. Only 6 years later, our advert, I'm sure you've seen it. It's only now that our advert is on television, 6 years later. But we've had to make the money, keep reinvesting it onto the business. But people need to understand that with entrepreneurship or business, you have to learn tenacity, relentlessness. You know, you just have to apply yourself, and it's your baby. If you don't give it attention, it doesn't grow. So when you focus on it daily, the little things that you do, actually, I always say to people, hustle will always be talent when talent is not good enough. You gotta hustle. There is no success without the hustle. No matter how much your pastor can say you must pray, prayer alone, it's even in the Bible, it's not gonna work for you if you're not gonna go do the work. So I'm one of those people that believe in doing. So I'm a doer. And I'd like to believe that a lot of people who follow my work are doers as well. And I guess that's the reason why even the narrative of entrepreneurship has grown in the country. And I'm very proud, and I'd like to be appreciative and come down.
You can speak in vernacular if you need to.
Express yourself accurately. Ngicela ukubonga abantu baseMzansi in South Africa for supporting our drinks, for supporting my entire career, for buying my books, and just for consistently rooting for us from wherever they are. That's the reason why people like ourselves, when we do projects, we always have their children in mind. We always have the youth of our country in mind, and we always give back. That's why I give back so much, because South Africa has given me so much. I never thought I'd be living the life that I'm living. I never thought that I'll be DJ Sbu one day. You know? So for me, I kind of feel my career is owed to South Africans. Even today, the success of Mofire belongs to South Africa. And it's not only the beginning, the journey is very long. There's a whole lot of other people also starting up their own businesses. And I believe with the mindset that we are on right now, I think we are on the right path.
Well, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon and for